What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Well, I need to get position correctly. There we go. I don't want to block out the logo and all that. But what's going on? What's going on? It's your boy, Eli, researcher Eli. I'm extremely excited because it's conference championship week. And, well, I guess it's been the week for the, 5 days or so. But we're approaching it. And I'm very excited because these matchups are looking insane. But first of all, let me know how y'all feeling. I want to know. Oh, mic's working. But I want to know how y'all feeling, how you feeling about these games coming up and all. How your week been? Just let me know in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading these comments and all. But, yeah, it's going to be a short one today. Only 2 games to review, but there's a lot of coaching news that I want to go over. And in my opinion and what I think is going to happen or what the outlook is, like, for example, not to get ahead of myself, but Jim Harbaugh going to the, Los Angeles Chargers. Huge. Going to be huge for Justin Herbert and all the gang over there in LA. So I'm very excited to talk about that, my thoughts, opinions, all that. I got only one piece of paper and got all time in the world. Actually, I think the building closes at like 6, so let's get to it. So, for today's topics, we have the playoff review, trending news, what's going on in the NFL today. Like I said, it's going to be a short show today. There's not going to be a lot of news to discuss and whatnot, but I'm very excited to see how we look in my predictions. So let's move on. We have the Chiefs at the Ravens. This one's at 3 p.m. Eastern time. Pretty nervous because if you've been keeping up with the show, I love Lamar Jackson. I love the Ravens. I love the Ravens even before Lamar was there. So it just gives me even more of a reason to like them. But very excited because these are the two best AFC teams. I think they got it right. I think best overall teams. I think the Bills had better potential to be the better team, if that makes sense. But Buffalo I think they're cursed, man. It sucks. I really hate it for them because that city really deserves a Super Bowl. And my roommate, Davis, he deserves a Super Bowl too. But it is what it is. Let's look into the comments. We got Laguck. I'm not saying the name. Hi, Matt. Thoughts on Vic Fangio leaving Miami? I'll get into that later, but it's weird because I like the mindset of him, but I don't really know. You're going to have to inform me on the Miami defense and how they looked all year. But going to Philly, I think that helps a lot because Philly's got a lot of talent on the defensive side. So I'm very curious to see how that looks later on in the year. And it's good that they got him early because now he can start prepping and getting him into shape. So we'll see how that goes. Then we have my boy Mason. What's up, Mason? Why is this guy so handsome? Mason, you're handsome. I only want to be like you and your mustache. That's all. And then we got Wayne Heron. He's a looker for show. Man, stop this. What is this? No, I appreciate y'all, but let's get back to football. So with the Chiefs, we'll start with them. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites, but I think the line moved to 4 today. But when I was making the slide, it was at 3.5. So the line moving up 4 definitely, makes people think. It makes me think that Vegas knows something. They're 4-point favorites for a reason. But for the Chiefs, if they want to win the game, they're going to have to eliminate and cause turnovers. So no turnovers on their side. They had 2 turnovers last game, and it nearly cost them, thanks to Tyler Bass, wide right. But they would have to get Lamar to turn over the ball in some sort of way. I'm not saying that he's the only guy that can turn over the ball, but if Lamar's turn over the ball, that defense is going to be all over that team, and they'll be in their head all day, all night, whatever it is. But then you got to continue to feed Pacheco. He did fantastic last week, all right? He looked great with those big plays, and that's one of the keys that we had for the Chiefs to win the games, that Pacheco needs to have big plays. And he did. He had a few of them. I don't know the exact number of big plays, but, there's, I think, a few. I saw at least 3 of him getting 15, 20 yards or so because that opens up the offense for them a whole lot more, and that makes the defense fear Pacheco when really you need to fear Mahomes, which I hate to say. And then the third final key for the Chiefs is they need to contain Lamar. Any team that's going to be facing the Ravens, they need to contain Lamar. He's finally, I'm not saying that if you're just now seeing how good Lamar is, I'm not calling you a casual, but the casual eye is starting to realize, like, okay, this guy is actually really good. And he's still rather young. I think he's about 26, 27. If I can get a fact check in the chat, that would be fantastic. I would really appreciate it. But then the Chiefs, they're 3-2 in the AFC Championship game with Mahomes. That's a 60% win rate. That's not, the number 60% never looks good thanks to school, making us think that that's bad. But that's actually incredible because he's only been with them for so long, and he's taken them to the AFC Championship game almost, I think, every year. He's never been bounced, but this will be his second game on the road. He looked just fine against Buffalo. I was a little nervous for him going into Buffalo because that place is dangerous. They got fans throwing snowballs at people. Like, that's nuts. I mean, who does that? Buffalo, but it makes sense. But they're 3-2. That's very impressive. Let's move on to the Ravens side. Get off to a hot start. Oh, get off to get a hot start. Yeah, you got to get off to get a hot start because the Chiefs will be on their you-know-what the entire time because the Chiefs want nothing more than to go back-to-back. There hasn't been a back-to-back team that won the Super Bowl since I think it was 2002, 2003, or 2001, 2002 Patriots, and they want that so bad because, one, that's impressive. Two, that solidifies Mahomes' legacy because if he does that, top 5 quarterback of all time easily. I mean, some people consider him now as a top 5 quarterback. But you got to get off to a hot start. Don't give them any breathing room. Keep your foot on the gas pedal. Give Mahomes no options. You need to lock down, all right? Marlon Humphrey, I'll talk about this later. He's looking to get back and healthy with Mark Andrews. But it's looking iffy, so be aware. But if Marlon Humphrey can come back, that really helps out the team a bunch. But, yeah, you can't give him any options. You got to lock down Kelsey. You got to lock down Rashee Rice. And even MVS, like, he looked great against Buffalo. I think he only had, like, a few catches, but he still looked solid because a few catches can even open up the offense in all sorts of ways. Third final key, the receivers need to help out Lamar. They looked great last time. Zay Flowers had 4 catches for 41 yards. If he can get more, and they still looked great. Don't get me wrong. Like, if that doesn't happen, you know, it's not like they're not going to win. But if they can get Zay Flowers involved more and more, that's going to, I keep saying it's going to open up the offense, but it will because the run game is great. The pass game is great. Get your receivers going. And the Ravens are 2-2 all time in the AFC Championship game. For a quick second, I want y'all to look. Mahomes is 3-2 with the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And the Ravens are 2-2 all time. And both times they've won the AFC Championship, they've gone on to win the Super Bowl, which is, you know, impressive whatsoever. But I think the last time they were in the AFC Championship game, they won. They beat the Patriots, I believe. I think it was like 2013 or something like that. Crazy stuff. I'm really looking forward to this because it's going to be killer. I hate that it's 3 o'clock, though. Why 3 o'clock, Roger? Why are we doing it at 3 o'clock? This makes no sense. Like, this should be the primetime game. Not that the Lions and the 49ers isn't a good game, but it definitely should be the primetime game. It is what it is. Let's look at the chat. We got Matt again. He says, can we go final score predictions from the great Elijah? Absolutely. Oh, look, perfect timing. So I got some last keys for the game. The last meeting between the Chiefs and the Ravens, more so Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes, was week 2 of 2021. If you remember that game, it was 36-35. Absolute killer. There's a crazy soundbite of Jim Harbaugh asking Lamar, do you want to go for it on 4th and 1 in their own territory with about a minute left? And he said, let's do it. And they went for it, and they got it, won the game, over. That was a huge moment, I think, for the Ravens franchise and just for Lamar and Harbaugh to show that they have that chemistry that's there. You know, we've seen, not to talk about the Falcons because they're my team, but if your QB and coach aren't on the same page, it's not going to work. Like Mike McDaniels, I'm sorry if I got the S wrong, and Tua, they're on the same page. I know they struggle, but they look good, right? Sirianni and Hurts, they're not looking amazing, but they still win games, and I know they had that rough stretch at the end, but it's whatever. 2 of the top 6 defenses are in this game. Believe it or not, I know I gave the Ravens the Best Defense of the Year award earlier this year, but the Chiefs are ranked higher in defensive production. They're ranked number 2. I think Browns are number 1, and the Ravens are number 6. All right. Defensive game, I think that's what's crazy is you got 2 amazing offensive quarterbacks, and they're going against really good defenses. So I'm very curious to see how this goes. Marlon Humphrey, Mark Andrews, Harbaugh said they have a chance to play. Still don't know if it's smoke and mirrors. I'm very excited for the Andy Reid-Harbaugh matchup. Like 2 great coaches going at it. Fantastic. Love it. And then Mahomes is 3-1 versus Lamar all time. Only in regular season. They've never played in the playoffs, so different animal. But 3-1, and it's going to look tough. All right. And before that last meeting between the Ravens and Chiefs, he was 3-0. So, and even Lamar Jackson said, I don't like competing against him. I wouldn't either. Mahomes scares me. But for my prediction, I never like making lines this close, but I have the Ravens winning 24-23. One, I got a couple reasons. One, I'm biased. Go Ravens. Come on. I don't have to say anything else. But 2, home field advantage. I think that's going to help them a lot. I know the Ravens have lost 3 times this year at home. But they are determined. They want to win this Super Bowl so bad. They have like the most complete team out of all teams, I think, even more so than the Chiefs. But they want to win the Super Bowl so bad. I know Lamar wants to solidify his legacy as well. He wants to have 2 MVPs if he wins this year, and he also wants to have a ring on his finger. But I got 24-23. I'll go with Justin Tucker game-winning field goal. Whenever I predict stuff like that, it never happens, but we'll see. But yeah, I think the defenses are going to hold him down. I think the line also is at 44.5, which is that's a pretty good line. It's not too bad, but most of the people are betting the over, which means that it's probably going to go under. Look at me. I went over. It is what it is. But yeah, Ravens 24-23. But if the Chiefs end up winning, I think it would be like also a close game. I'd probably go like 30-24, a little touchdown game action or something. But Ravens not going to cover. Chiefs are going to cover. Let's move on to the next game. I'm out of here. We have... Oh, wait, hold on. You got to like and subscribe. We just hit 500 earlier this week, so I appreciate you guys. As always, it really means a lot for this channel because we only started in June, I believe, or in August or so. We were just talking mock drafts and all that with Adam and Nick. So big ups. Really appreciate you guys subscribing. Please continue to like and share. It means nothing to you, but everything to us. I really do appreciate it. And also, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let's move to some comments, actually. It's blowing up. I love it. Don't sleep on these O-lines as well. I agree. Yeah, they got some beefy boys. I don't know the names, but, yeah, Chiefs O-line looks great. Ravens O-line protects Lamar. And that's what's crazy about these guys is even if you're protecting them and then the pocket collapses, they still have a chance, all right? Like last week I said get, Mahomes sacked early because if he leaves the pocket, he still has an option. You got to get him on the ground. Lamar Jackson on the ground. All right, you've got to do it if you want to succeed. Then we have, let's go. Yep, this is incredible content. Beautiful quality. Love all of it. Appreciate you, Freedom. Speedrun. Yes, sir. You already know this is great content. We're trying to make Fantasy Blitz the best fantasy channel. I know we're not talking any fantasy because there's no fantasy right now, but I love talking NFL, love talking football. But let me know y'all's predictions in the comments for real because, these are just predictions. You never know what's going to happen. But, yeah, let's move on to the next game. We have the Lions at 49ers. 49ers are 9.5-point favorites. I think the line also dropped to 7 today. Huge as well because that's a touchdown game, and the line rarely drops from 2.5 points. Like, usually moves from a point or so or half a point, but that's pretty big. But we'll start with the Lions. Continue to let Goff throw. He looked great against the Bucs. He looked like he was in control. This is the Jared Goff that the Rams drafted initially. He just looks like a gunslinger out there, all right? That offense is complete. They have a good tight end, great receiving core. They have Amon-Ra St. Brown as a wide receiver 1. That's fantastic. But then they have, like, Jameson Williams, Craig Reynolds. Craig Reynolds is out here running touchdowns. Like, what is this offense? What are we doing? And then they have Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. It looks great. So that leads us into the second key. Feed Gibbs and Monty because, again, that opens the offense for Jared Goff. That makes him look great, makes the field a whole lot more wide or a whole lot wider. But, yeah. And then the third key, I got to change the screen. Go get after Brock Purdy and believe Detroit. I know you can believe. I know you can do it. I have full faith in Detroit. I really think they can do it because that city wants it bad. I don't know if y'all saw Baker's comments, but he said that. And shout out to Baker Mayfield. I hope he gets Comeback Player of the Year just because like he was counted out and then he led his team to a divisional round. So shout out to Baker. But you got to believe. He said this titty is oh, my gosh. My goodness. This city is playing for each other. Wow, I'm embarrassed. The city is playing for each other, so you got to believe. But also, this is where it gets kind of rough. The Lions are 0-1 in the NFC Championship game of all time. So history is definitely not on their side. Not looking forward to that. But they can also change history. History has to change. Before we move on to the 49ers, let's look at some comments. We've got Matthew saying, I believe these final 4 teams all rank top 6. Oh, that would be, that's amazing. I would totally believe that. Matt, I know you come correct, so unless it comes to the Miami Heat, then you're wrong. All jokes. But yeah, they all teams have great defenses. I think the 49ers are one of the most slept on like front sevens just because Chase Young and Nick Bosa. But those guys are going to get after Goff. I'm excited to see how that goes. Let's move on. I love the comments. I appreciate y'all even commenting and helping out. So let's see. I've never had the chat go this crazy, so I'm a little nervous. In O-line. I'm sorry. I need to read ahead. See, it's my favorite fantasy channel. That's for damn show. Absolutely. Everyone knows it's rigged for Niners and Ravens. If the Ravens get in, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Yeah, facts, no, I can see that. What's up? Hey, what's up? Robust When Unarmed. That's my cousin Troy. Y'all should go check him out on Instagram. Robust When Unarmed. He's got some great content, great merch. All right, sells really good shirts. But let's move on to the 49ers. Let's get back to talking football. So, for the 49ers, if they want to win, they need to allow Brock Purdy to work. And I've seen the memes about him only throwing checkdowns. But the matter of the fact is that he led them to the final drive to win the game. All right, and I know what Cam Newton talking about, that he's only game managers, which is crazy to me because, he's winning games. He's not losing them games at all. He's winning them games. He literally led them to the final drive. And you got to allow him to work. And it all depends on Deebo Samuel. I really think if he's healthy, that changes a lot of the game. All right, and then the same key from last week, Christian McCaffrey has got to get at least 25 touches. If you watch the game, I only watched a little bit. I was at a concert. But I kept up with the game tracker. There were drives where they didn't even give McCaffrey the ball, or they only gave it to him one out of every 4 plays or so. And I know players get fatigued. I understand that. But he's your best player. You got to let your players play, all right? Players make plays, and you have to let him play. Get 25 touches, mainly the run. We saw the 39-yard touchdown run. Incredible. But you have got to get him involved in the pass game. Once again, makes him more of a threat, opens up the offense. It looks great. Also, for the 49ers, the last key, they have got to have their best defensive game if they want to win this game. 49ers have the better offense on paper. However, I can see the Lions being the better offense just because they look more well-rounded and healthier. But I'm very curious to see how they look. Because if Brock Purdy's not there, it's over. It's Jover. It's not going to work. I don't see it happening at all. But they got to get after Goff. They got to shut down the backfield. Because if they get off to a hot start on defense, the Lions could get rattled, and the city of Detroit could definitely get, in their heads and think, oh, it's over. And I know this game is being played in San Francisco, but you gotta believe. Like I said, you gotta believe. And then the last little padlock stat is the 49ers are 7-11 in the NFC Championship game of all time. 18 appearances. Most teams would love to sniff around 10. All right, but the fact that they have 18, that's phenomenal. And they've won 7, so they've gone to 7 Super Bowls. I believe they've won 6 of them, or 5 or 6, if I get a fact checked. I know they lost the Chiefs a few years ago. But 7-11 doesn't look great, but really is not that bad. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how this game goes. Before we get into my other keys, let's look at some of these comments. Final score predictions for the Niners game. We'll get there in a second. You got the Niners. Okay, Matthew, we'll talk. Raheem Morris to the Falcons. That would be great. I would love that. 1,000%, but we'd have to probably cut Algier, which is okay. Raheem Morris. Oh wait. Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of the other guy. Wait, are you for real? Raheem Morris to the Falcons? Oh man. Okay. Well, we'll get into that later. Dadgummit. I liked when he was there, but I wanted Belichick. Why are we going with him? All right. Now a mental breakdown live on air. Unbelievable. All right. We'll keep going. Yeah, my heart hurts too, Hayden. Dad, I really want a Belichick. Well, I guess Commanders or the Seahawks will go to Belichick. I don't know. So maybe the Seahawks love getting old coaches. Let's keep going. There's just no way you have the players that you have on offense and go. Yeah, I know. Go get a DC as your head coach. Arthur Blank needs to sell the team. There it is. Put that on. Clip it. I don't care. That's unbelievable. No, Belichick. He was there. Unbelievable. Thoughts on Cam Newton wanting to go to the Falcons? No. I want to be as nice as possible. No. Please, no. I saw a tweet or a comment, whatever it was. It says, Cam Newton has interest in the Falcons. The Falcons don't have any interest in Cam Newton. We don't. Not happening. I like Raheem Morris, but this is unbelievable. I'm still shocked. But I got to get in my keys of the game for this one. Then we'll talk some coaching news. Hey, I appreciate the comments, everybody. But please drop your prediction for the Lions and 49ers. Score predictions, MVPs, whoever. Let me know. So for the Lions and 49ers, for this these key... I'm still shocked. Purdy only 1 loss in the playoff career. That was last year against the Eagles. Did he play? No, he got hurt. Then they had to end up starting like Josh Johnson, whatever his name was, and they ended up losing the game because Brock Purdy wasn't playing. Eagles, I think, were still going to go and win regardless, but not having your starting quarterback definitely stinks. Next key is Lions look to advance to the first Super Bowl ever. I think if they get in there, that city will be... I mean, you don't want to just get there and just play and then that's it, but they want to win, but that would be huge for Detroit. I mean, if you're not rooting for Detroit, I'm not saying that you have to root for them, but if you're not looking to see them get in at least, are you even a football fan? Like, come on, this team went 0-16 like years ago, and now they're going... Come on. Debo's health status is in the air. That's a huge factor for me. All right, if you are looking at this game as a close game, that's the key. Deebo Samuel needs to be healthy. He's looking to practice today. He didn't practice yesterday. But if he doesn't practice today, it's not looking great. It's not looking great at all. We saw how small that offense looked without him. I mean, they even got Chris Conley, shout out North Paulding. Chris Conley catching passes because Deebo Samuel was out, all right? And then this is an interesting stat. The Lions are the only team, I think they're the only team that have allowed less than 70 yards for a running back all season. And Christian McCaffrey's had well over 12 games of 70 yards rushing. We'll see who wins that battle. I think whoever wins that battle will probably win the game. Not saying that Detroit is a juggernaut on defense for rushing, but they're one of the best teams for rushing in the league, especially out of these four teams. But we'll see. Like, it's going to be incredible to see how this goes. Like, you need to lock Christian McCaffrey down if you want to win this game. But for the Lions and the 49ers, I have the Lions going 27-20. But the line's against them. I don't care. I don't care at all. I believe in Detroit. I think Dan Campbell can do it. He has this team on his back. They play for each other, and I think the job can get done. Jared Goff, in conference championship games, he's not bad. He looks pretty good. I think he did well against New Orleans a few years ago in 2018, 2019. So I'm very curious to see how that goes, but it'll be interesting. But he's also an X factor. Like, another X factor I see is Roquan Smith for the Ravens. If he's not looking great, then it might be over, But he can do well. It's Roquan Smith. Go Dogs. Come on, how we doing? But yeah, 27-20. But if the 49ers win, it could look like it could be around, like 38-31, high-scoring game. But I don't see it being that high-scoring. But yeah, those are my predictions. I got Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl. It probably will end up being Ravens versus the 49ers because that's how the script is. I don't think they want Detroit playing in the Super Bowl. I think they're going to let go of that magical dust. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's move on to some coaching news. I don't even know where to start. Maybe we should start with... Well, let's look at the chat. Let's see. Matthew said, I don't know how Cam would possibly be worse than Desmond. Throw it to the other team, Ritter. Well, the thing is, Matt, we're not going to continue with Desmond Ritter. And if we do, unbelievable. Why? Why in the world would we continue with... I'd rather him roll the ball to the receivers and have Cam Newton play. Unreal. Let me get a sip of my bev. Shout out to Yerba. Not sponsored. Yo, Chris Conley shout out. Yeah, I know. I agree. It's crazy. Crazy times we live in. But coaching news. Jim Harbaugh to the Chargers. I am a big fan of this. Now that he's in the NFL, he now has the highest win percentage out of all active head coaches, including Belichick. He's going to look great. I think he's going to be amazing because him and Herbert should get along. They should work well together. Harbaugh being a former quarterback for the Chargers definitely adds that little spark, no pun intended. But I'm very curious to see how that goes. He's a winning coach. He just won the national championship with Michigan. Not saying he can win the Super Bowl with the Chargers, but it'll be very curious to see how it goes. Very proud of the Chargers for making the right call. I think this is the right call they've made since they got Herbert in the draft. But we'll talk about Raheem Morris because I'm still shocked. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You have all this offensive talent. And maybe the thing is, now this is just wishful thinking, but maybe he's just going to say, I'll let you go out there and play. But if that's the case, you got a bunch of young guys playing, right? Like Bijan, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. They're all young. Yes, they have experience, but they need to be coached. These aren't guys that have been in the league for years or so. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. And it really stinks, too, that the Falcons let go of their DC. And now that he's with Jacksonville as their DC. And I guess Raheem Morris is going to be the I just can't believe it. This is unreal. I'm having a breakdown. Next, we have Belichick. Well, I had Belichick no longer the favorite for Atlanta. Looks like that was true. Don't know why. Arthur Blank, why? What's going on? But now we have, I can cross this one off the list, the two remaining jobs, Seahawks and Commanders. I can't see Belichick going to the Commanders. And honestly, maybe the Seahawks, but I doubt he would even want to go to the Seattle Seahawks. Very curious to see how that goes. Vic Fangio out of Miami, now DC for the Eagles. That should be good. I'm very excited to see how that goes. And then Brian Callahan, the new Tennessee coach, former offensive coordinator for the Bengals. That's a great move. Tennessee does not have great talents, all right, even especially with Derrick Henry potentially leaving. So we'll see how that goes with him over there. Maybe they'll get some good draft picks to increase that team value on offense, especially. But then we also had Dave Canales. I think that's how you say his last name. Former Bucks OC, now Panthers head coach. Very cool. I think that'll help out because I didn't think anyone was going to take that Panthers job. They were going to get a coach, but that was incredible that they got him because they made Baker Mayfield and the Bucks look good. Not saying that you can't, but he made him look good. I'm excited to see how he works with Bryce Young in the second year. That's beautiful to me, even though they're a divisional rival. It should still work out well for him. Yeah, that concludes all the coaching news. Let's look at the chat real quick. This probably means we're getting a vet quarterback. I would agree, just so we don't have to worry about any of that. Yeah, it's unbelievable. Robust one on arms that roll the ball. I'm being serious. I'd rather have that than Cam Newton. And then Bucks just lost. Yeah, Canales, yeah. So we'll be curious to see, and we'll be on the lookout to see how that goes. Yeah, y'all need to drop your predictions. I'm very curious to see how this game goes. Again, I have Baltimore 24-23. Lamar Jackson, Roquan Smith, both ends of the ball. They need to step up. Same thing for the Chiefs. Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, step up. All right, this is your time to go back-to-back for the Chiefs. Lamar, this is your time to go to your first Super Bowl ever and win it. I think he can do it. I know he can do it. He's 20-1 against NFC opponents. And his last loss to an NFC opponent was the Giants. I think like 2019, 2020, one of those weird years. Very curious to see how that goes. I think you already know who I would pick in the Super Bowl, but we don't have matchups yet, so we don't know. Yeah, and then also for the Lions and 49ers, I have the Lions winning 27-20. I think the line changed to 7. I'm going to look that up real quick to see. Let's go real quick. Scores. If this would load. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Not a lot to talk about. I'm very curious to see what we do after the Super Bowl. Let me know what y'all want to see down low. After the Super Bowl. I'm probably going to do mock drafts with fantasy as well as rookies. Are the Bears really going to take Caleb Williams as their number 1? Do you think he should? I don't know. Then we'll go with who should be the number 1 overall pick for fantasy, even if Caleb Williams goes to the Bears. All that sort of stuff. Rankings, whatnot. Very curious. Keep saying very curious because I am. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Let's look at the line real quick for the Lions 49. Yeah, dropped to 7. And then the Ravens dropped also back to 3.5. Looks like a lot of bettors are going with the Chiefs or going with the Lions. So, I appreciate you guys. 500 subs. Wouldn't be here without y'all. Really do appreciate it. Make sure to like and subscribe. Please share with your mom, your dad, your auntie, your uncle, grandma, grandpa, your coworker, your friend, your neighbor, even some people that you don't even talk to. Spread the word. I appreciate you guys. Also, always want to shout out my mom, my dad, my sisters, my girlfriend Sayana, my roommates. Appreciate you guys for doing this. I won't shout y'all out every time, but now that we hit 500 subs, y'all have been great every single time trying to reach this goal. But now we have an even bigger goal, 1,000 subs. We can do it before the season starts. I know we can. Really appreciate you guys. Let's look at the stat one more time. 600 soon. Oh, yeah, we're at 525, so we're not too far off. It's not like we're at 501 or 502. Very close to 600. That'll get the ball rolling. Please like this video. It really does help the algorithm, believe it or not. The stats show that it does. So the more likes, the more views, the more subscriptions, the whole deal. And also, we're trying to get this page monetized, so the public hours got to go up. And also, go check out our shorts. We make some pretty funny shorts, I think. But yeah, appreciate you guys. God bless. Be kind to one another. And peace.